Greetings, Internet. So today I'm going to go through a vocal chain, or rather one of my processes I use for vocals. I'm not going to sell this as, this is the most killer vocal chain ever, or whatever people do to try and sell you on clicks. I want to teach you a process that allows you to create a good vocal quickly. I'm going to go through that process. This is one I've sort of been doing for years that I really, really like, and let's get started. So the order of what I'm doing is pitch correction, corrective EQ, de-essing, general compression, character EQ, character compression, a little bit of multi-band dynamics, vocal rider, the feed out to my effects, and then saturation. All right, so here's my vocal chain. This is song 1995 by Matt Long, which I've done a full break on before. I actually redid some vocal processing to fit this tutorial. Let's get started. So here is how it ended up.
What a time to be alive, back in 1995, riding bikes with my friends after school.
And here is where we started.
What a time to be alive, back in 1995, riding bikes with my friends after school.
First, I'm going to bring this band DCA down so you can hear more of the vocal, and I will show you the workflow. First, we are going to start with pitch correction. Know the key of your song, get it dialed in. I actually typically like this about 50, 15 on the speed. Have your key selected. For if I'm really doing in depth, I go into Melodyne and actually tune things manually. For something like this tutorial, we're just going to throw Ways Tune Real Time on there. All right, next on the list will be what I call my corrective EQ. This is where I'm pulling out frequencies that I don't like. So that's what this is right here, using the Softube Equalizers.
What a time to be alive, back in 1995, riding bikes with my friends after school.
So here there's a lot of mid-range that we just got rid of. Next up on the list is the de-esser. In this case, I'm using Wave Sibilance. Like doing about -14, and basically you're going after P's, T's, and S's.
To be alive, back in 1995, riding bikes with my friends after school.
So go through and bring that threshold down until it's pulling those out the way you want, and we will move on. Next up is what I call my sort of just general compression. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. In this particular instance, I am using the RComp and do roughly a 2-to-1 ratio. I brought the attack down to 14, had that release at 120, smooth that out and bring that threshold until it's just sort of dipping down to -3 dB of compression.
What a time to be alive, back in 1995, riding bikes with my friends after school. Was an ordinary day.
All right, this is just sort of just general shaping of the dynamics, getting that a little bit under control. We'll do more later. Next up is a character EQ. So this is where I typically will grab some type of emulator, Pultec or whatever, and sort of just do a little bit of additive EQ just to play with the general shape, and character is just something I like. So in this particular case, I'm adding a little bit at 12K on a shelf, a little bit of dip at 700 Hertz, and a little bit of boost at 220 Hertz to bring that low end out in his vocal a little bit.
What a time to be alive, back in 1995, riding bikes with my friends after school. Was an ordinary day.
Next up is my character compressor. So one of the reasons that I do not do a lot of compression on my first round is because I actually do also more compression with my character compressor. 1176s are very, 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 very common, and for good reason. It just really, really tames those dynamics and lets you sit a vocal right on top of the mix, and it sounds quite fun. I've been playing with the distressor a lot lately as well. All right, all buttons in. Bring that attack so it moves pretty quickly. Bring that release so it moves pretty quickly. It actually has a slower release than I like on standard, so have that cranked up pretty much. And then we, again, aim for about 3 dB of compression there.
What a time to be alive, back in 1995, riding bikes with my friends after school. Was an ordinary day when those green eyes looked my way, with slick back hair, man, I felt so cool. Oh.
After that, I do a little bit of taming in my sort of dynamic EQ or multi-band compression. This is only for frequencies that sort of jump out at you at certain times. That's what this whole design is for. And it's just to tame that a little bit. So
oh, feels like heaven here on earth. I never knew my worth until...
That's all I'm doing, just wiggling that needle a little bit and just trying to keep those under control. If he really goes for it, it'll dig in a little harder. And one of the last items on the list, the second to last item on the list. So I like this. It just sort of emulates just this last little sort of riding of the fader feel that you would do if you have faders. I currently do not, but basically have it so it's sitting mostly at 0. Just moving your target around, and I like it just to dig in more than it adds.
Oh, it feels like heaven here on earth. I never knew my worth until that day. Oh, my heart's burning with desire. Fan the spark into a fire, come with me. We will sing.
All right, and then last thing on the list is I will then add saturation. It's one of the last things that, well, some days it's last, some days it's right along with EQ. Just in this particular rendition, I'm using the Softube Tape. It just adds a little bit of smoothness. I do this top of channel.
Oh, it feels like heaven here on earth. I never knew my worth until that day.
All right, and then after that, I add my effects.
Oh, it feels like heaven here on earth. I never knew my worth until that day. Oh, my heart's burning with desire. Fan the spark into a fire, come with me. We were singing.
All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed. We'll dive into it a little bit further later. If you want to, if you need any mixing or mastering done, feel free to get a hold of me. And also like, subscribe, comment. It helps me. So we'll dive into these a bit more next time.